afternoon. It is time for the July update for my HON3 Rio Grande Southern Model Railroad. It is currently Saturday, July 20th, 2019, and unfortunately Colorado Springs has not been immune from the big heat wave that's been gripping most of the United States. We have about one more day hopefully left on that, and we're expecting some showers and storms today. But in the meantime, with the hot weather outdoors, today is a great day to hide in the nice cool basement with the trains. So let's take a look at what I've been up to. So this is the model railroad space when you enter the basement. It probably doesn't look too much different than the May update because I really haven't done too much differently. I mean, the layout's already probably 80 to 90% where I want it. So now it's just a matter of smaller projects and then filling in some gaps. I intentionally skipped the June layout update. If you look at my YouTube channel, you can find the video I did make in June was essentially a ride-on video where I put a micro camera on the train, so you got to basically ride the train around the layout. I still need to build the Ridgeway roundhouse. You can see where the roundhouse is going to go. I have the plans, I have all the materials on hand. It just needs to bubble up on my to-do list. I have a number of other projects that are kind of in the queue ahead of time, so for now, my poor engines have to sit out into the elements here, which right now is a nice, cool, dry 68 degrees here in the basement. This grassy spot here is kind of crying out for a depot, and while I don't really have room for the full Ridgeway depot as it would scale out, and I'm not sure I can selectively compress it in a model to look right, I'm actually thinking about building a model of the RGS's Mancus depot, which was of a similar architecture but smaller, and putting it there. I don't know, jury's still out. I know some people might squirm at that because it's not prototype, but at least it's a Rio Grande Southern depot and not something off the shelf. Going through Ridgeway here, not a whole lot of new stuff. A lot of car projects. Add this new precision scale brass caboose. I also took a Micro Trains Colorado and Southern gondola car that came to me lettered for the White Pass in Yukon. I added the hardware, painted it up, and weathered it up to look like a Rio Grande Southern work gondola number 0620. Here's the other side of that Micro Trains gondola car. I'm happy with how it came out. It's not quite the right body style for the real RGS 0620, but she looks good and she rolls well. So these two cars were built from the same kit pretty much. It used to be produced by E&B Valley Models. Now it's Model Railroad General Store. The kit on the left represents Rio Grande Southern coach number 260, as she would have appeared about 1938 in maintenance away service, but still in her coach seat configuration. And this car, number 259, represents one of the two combines that the RGS built in 1930 using old coaches that they had on hand. And so number 259, I built it the same way the RGS did by hacking a door into the middle of a coach car and boarding up a bunch of the windows. So essentially how the railroad did it is how I did it. Another fun build is the outhouse structure at Placerville. So I used plans from the RGS storybooks drawn by Mike Blazik and photographs, color photographs showing it was still painted sort of this ruddy brown color. That pile of dirt in front is also taken from photographs, and we're hoping it's dirt, right? But this guy right here, he looks real proud of his work, and he's saying, yeah, you might not want to go in there for a little while. One of the scenery challenges I've been facing is how do I deal with all of the sagebrush that you find at lower elevations in Colorado? I really haven't found a product in the model railroad circles that really matches both the color and the texture of sagebrush, and I really haven't been able to make anything myself that looks as good until I found this product at my local hobby town. And this is actually marketed for military and war diorama builders. It's called Deadland Tufts by a company called the Army Painter. You can find it on eBay, you can find it on Amazon. Deadland Tufts by the Army Painter, and it comes 77 to a pack, and I gotta be honest, 77 doesn't go very far. You think it would, but I suppose if you're doing a small diorama, but when you're doing a model railroad that fills a portion of the basement, I'm gonna probably end up ordering a few more packs, but the color and the texture really looks dead on to me. So I'm happy with how that came out, and it definitely gives it more of that dry scrub brush country feel that the very north end of the Rio Grande Southern should have. Another car kit from Model Railroad General Store. This is a Denver and Rio Grande Western long baggage car. This kit is mostly micro plywood with a resin roof and some plastic details. And I gotta tell you, what a well-designed kit. It was really fun to build. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to building the rest of my Model Railroad General Store head-end car kits because I still have an RPO, a combine, and another coach to build. A little while ago, I scored a brass Rio Grande Southern number 20 from Erie Limited on eBay. These engines are known as really good runners. This particular engine, though, had some clear, what looks like fall damage to the tender and some mechanical issues that I need to deal with. So there's a little bit of a wobble, so I need to make sure the drivers are properly quartered and all the gears are meshing properly. Also, the journals probably might need to be shimmed, but it came with a kind of a messy paint job. Globs of paint. Somebody had tried to weather it, looks like with a spray can or with an airbrush where the sort of the mist setting was set to blob. So unfortunately, to remove the weathering involved removing the paint. So this is what she looks like, repainted by myself and slightly weathered to look as she would have in, say, 1945. So I'm looking forward to getting her running as well as she looks. Here at Lizard Head Pass, I'm adding more structures. So added the outhouse. Of course, the section house was here. This was the first structure I scratch built for Lizard Head. This is the bunkhouse, again, from photographs and plans. And then I added part of the extensive network of snow fences that were up here at Lizard Head. At 10,250 feet, Lizard Head is the highest point on the railroad. It's a very cold, windy, windswept, and snowy place. There's typically snow up there from, say, late September, early October, all the way through till May and sometimes June. And so the railroad had a lot of infrastructure to protect itself from the snow. So the fence is only part of that infrastructure. There was also a very large snow shed system that covered the tracks up here. Building something like that would be complex, and it would make maintenance of the train tracks from a practical perspective kind of difficult. So that's a project on the back burner for now, but for now I feel like the snow fence really kind of helps give you the vibe of Lizard Head without requiring the snow shed and the headaches that go along with the snow shed. All right, coming across Bridge 45B, we are now at Ophir. So this is really the last remaining big hunk of unfinished scenery. I did just recently finish the Bantam Model Works kit for the Ophir Quality Store, and you will recognize this store from just about any photograph of Ophir. Looking south, it was an iconic structure, and I'm very glad that Bantam makes a great kit for it, including these scallop shingles, which are not for the weak of heart, by the way. That was a challenge, but I really love the way they came out. All four structures in this field of view are by Bantam Model Works. So essentially, if you want to model Ophir in HON3, that's the way to go. The Mrs. Skillen store here, I did actually reduce the depth so that there was more room between the track and the backdrop so that I could kind of push the structure back a little away from the track. This will sit up on wooden stilts and a stone retaining wall like the prototype. Right now it's on a box of screws. And then the Oilton Club. This is the last remaining structure at the Ophir Loop area from the railroad days. And if you drive Colorado 145, you just might see it. Mine obviously has a long way to go before it looks like the prototype, but we're getting there slowly. Ophir is really the scene you've got to get right. If you're modeling the Rio Grande Southern, everybody who knows anything about the railroad knows this scene and you've got to get it right. So I'm taking my time to try to get it right. Last bit of forward progress. Finally got the fire barrels on Bridge 45A. I've been promising that like every video, and now finally they're there. So 45A is done. Okay, with that, we will do a quick walk around of the layout. So here's Ridgeway, and again, the future location of Ridgeway's roundhouse. Past the turntable. Here's the staging yard. The track that peels off to the left of the stockyard is the Denver and Rio Grande Western Ouray branch interchange to Ouray and Montrose. Crossing the road at Jay's, the RGS main line continues on through the trees, crosses Leopard Creek into Placerville, and again, every structure in Placerville is a representation of a structure that either still exists or once existed during the railroad days. And we come around toward Windy Point, and my Windy Point is a little freelanced. The real Windy Point on the Rio Grande Southern was a talus slope. I made mine a rock face for drama. But it also looks a lot like a lot of other prominent locations on Colorado narrow gauge. Several locations on both the Durango and Silverton and the Cumberson Toltec look like this. Then we come across Bridge 45A, which leads us into Ophir. This is the Sometimes called the first of the big loop trestles. Sometimes 44A butterfly is considered the first of the big trestles. And then we come into over, the finished part, the unfinished part, bridge 45B, lizard head pass, with the lizard head up there, which again, I know, I gotta permanently attach that. Then we approach Gallagher. This is bridge 57B. Clearly I didn't model bridge 57A, but I only have so much room, right? We go through the cut and we appear at Rico, some 66.2 miles south of Ridgeway. This is the Rico Argentine Pro Patria mill. Here are some of the town structures in Rico. I think this fence might be new since the last video. And then we come into Rico proper, where the rail yard is, the depot, and so on. Not really any forward progress at Rico because it's essentially done. There's a few more minor structures to add to Rico, but it's pretty much where it needs to be. And then, of course, on the south side of Rico, the Rico stock pens, still filled with cows and sheep that are wondering when the heck they're going to finally get on board those stock cars. Coming around the lift out section, we arrive back at Ridgeway. And with that, thanks for stopping by, and subscribe to my channel and keep an eye out for new videos. Thanks a lot.